smashing through the lies, destroying narratives, and breaking through the mainstream media programming. This is tomorrow's America.
Hi, my name is Richard Donahue, and I'm here with my co-host, William Donahue. Welcome back to Tomorrow's America. Today, we have a huge episode, so stay tuned all the way through. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe because it really helps out us and our channel. And share this to people that you think would be interested in this. So, a independent reporter, Cam Higbee, infiltrated an anti-ICE chat and found them working together with possibly the Minnesota government. They have a lot of stuff here, like radar guns and stuff that, usually only the police would have. Also, it's spreading to multiple urban cities, as Buffalo, New York, like right in our backyard, has one as well. We'll be going through all of this. This is a threat to democracy. You hear that a lot, don't you? This is a threat to democracy. Now, Will, what do you know about these signal chats?
What I know about the signal chats is that basically it is a left-wing anti-ICE kind of shadow police force of basically common people. But allegedly, you have to say allegedly, there are members of the government who, have different usernames on there, and they have access to license plate scanner or reading technology. They're finding out who these people are. They have specific roles like a dispatcher, a patrol person, a responder, aftercare. They even have like a medic service. Like if somebody got hurt, they have people dispatched to go provide medical services for these violent rioters. And realistically, this is no longer a protest. So protest in the First Amendment, it says the right to peacefully assemble. This is not a peaceful assembly. This is violating federal law. This is assaulting law officers. This is using projectiles like fireworks and different things. They beat up two ICE agents in a hotel recently. And a lot of people might have already heard this story, but this is a great show that we're going to have for you because we're going to put it all in one place, hopefully in a concise fashion where it's one after another, just showing you the levels upon levels of what's going on. And, this might even go further back in history than just the ICE raids.
No, for sure. That's why we're speculating from us. We're speculating that it is government officials because when you look at the history of Minnesota, I mean, even in the landslide that Ronald Reagan had, they still voted blue. They were one of two states to do so. I mean, this place has been a Democratic ran state for as long as, recent America history. Since the 50s, they haven't voted Republican at all.
Look at the George Floyd situation. They paid out George Floyd's family before Derek Chauvin was even proven guilty.
Yeah. And you got to think that it's got to be involving the government. It's almost has to be. Obviously that hasn't come out yet, but when you look at all of the Somali fraud and how we've just allowed that to happen, and as a mayor or a governor of a state, you're not able to tell that you're missing $9 billion. That makes no sense. Episode 3, Will went in depth on the Somali fraud scandal. It doesn't make any sense. You're telling me that you can't figure out where the $9 billion is going. You're just allowing these daycares and these health organizations to pop up, and you're not inspecting them at all. No. And also with these groups, the dispatch, the aftercare, the patrol, they are literally an organized group. You look at these stuff that we're going to show you out of this website. It's literally like written by lawyers. It looks like it's written by the government. Some of the stuff that they have is like high tech. They're literally recruiting people to be able to, they want volunteer lawyers. They want as many people as possible. There's an application process. It's ridiculous.
Yep. I wonder how they vet people for the application process. And another thing is, you got to think back to the Tim Walz, the couple of Democrats who got shot in the state of Minnesota. They were the people that were on the list were Democrats that defected from the Minnesota status quo of funding illegal alien health care. So they voted to end funding for illegal immigrant health care, and then a person came and had a list of who was on a hit list. And when that man was arrested, he said in his confession statement that Tim Walz put him up to doing it. So, do we take the murderer's word for it? That's up to whatever. We don't really have a justice system in this country anyway, but I guess we'll never know. But this network kind of could be seen as evidence to fortify what he's saying could be true. There are government people in this. Supposedly, the administrator of these signal chats is within the Minnesota government. So I'm going to go to a clip here and show everybody. This is just a list, like their contact list of everyone who's on the signal chat.
Yep.
Hold on 1 second, because I got to figure out how to.
And also, how are independent journalism or journalists like Nate Higbee and Nick Shirley able to figure out all of this stuff, but our own FBI can't even figure it out? It's like the top levels of the state and the federal government, we can't figure this out, but these random independent journalists can. Independent journalism is the future, I'm telling you.
Yep. All right, so here is their contact list. This is the longest contact list, but all these people, and you'll notice as we go through the list, people have emojis next to their names. Those emojis symbolize what role they are within the network. He is scrolling pretty fast, but I think it's just to show people how long this list is. He's only halfway through it right now.
Hundreds of people.
Hundreds of people, and people have car emojis. Those are the mobile patrol. There's different roles that these people play, and supposedly Renee Good and Alex Preddy were on these signal chats, allegedly.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised. Both of these, the way that their interactions happened with ICE, I mean, there's a lot of similarities. It's very weird,
yeah.
And it's also something that doesn't happen anywhere else. It's only in Minnesota.
Did you know that Alex Preddy had his ribs broken a week before he was shot by ICE? He had his ribs broken in a wrestling altercation with ICE agents 1 week prior to him being shot, and he showed up to the protest on this signal chat run by allegedly the representatives, the government of Minnesota. He showed up there with a gun. That is like that this should be brought down with a RICO case like the mafia. Mm-hmm. This is a mafia of left-wing communist revolutionaries trying to change the government in the United States right now.
Yeah, the whole state of Minnesota is ridiculous. I mean, from the college education level and what their professors are teaching to even the government officials, the people. I mean, you can't even escape it. I mean, when you look at the amount of people in that Signal chat. If you guys don't know what Signal is, it's basically it's the same type of thing.
Encrypted. It's an encrypted messaging app.
Yeah, it's basically like Telegram. It's like the same type of thing in a sense. But the Signal chat, it's basically where you don't have your real name. You see on there, it's a bunch of nicknames. But on there somewhere, you have to put your full name, so you can find out these people's full names. You can figure out everything about them, and especially with the Buffalo one that I have pulled up right here. I mean, it literally says, click here to volunteer. They have your full name. They do a full background check on you. My question is, how do they have this technology to do a background check on you? I mean, the internet is pretty good, but it's not that good. Like, you can't find out everything about a person. That's why I have suspicions about the government.
Why is Cam Higbee infiltrating this network, but our own FBI seems to have no clue that it ever existed, and has, as far as I'm concerned, has yet to make comment on this network? I haven't seen anything. Have you?
No, I haven't. And it also took them a while to talk about the Somali fraud. And I don't know if that's because these guys are independent journalists, so it's like they don't believe them instantaneously. But the mainstream medias are not picking up this story. No one's really talking about it. Thank God for X, because without X, I mean, we wouldn't have any real media. But I mean, this stuff is ridiculous. Nick Sorator, Nick Shirley, Cam Higbee. These are guys that you need to follow on X because they are spreading the truth. These are independent journalists that they're a must follow.
Yep. So speaking of must do, this is a must share episode. If you've made it this far, obviously you have some idea of the dire situation that we're in. This is a must share episode. Send this to normal people who might otherwise not watch this type of stuff. People need to hear about this. I have a clip for you, and you're going to see with this clip, you're going to see why this is a must-share episode, because listen to it. There's a dispatcher, there's responders. Yep. They're locating and hunting down ICE agents to disrupt.
Oh. White Chevy Silverado with the newly changed plates with the coexist sticker on the back. We're on Irving and Lake Street going north on Irving. We seem to be the only commuters following. Just wanted to give an update on our location.
Thank you. Do you have anyone in the car with you?
Yes, I do.
Lovely. Thank you.
And we are getting a photo sent to the chat for confirmation.
You're muted.
I just wanted to pause it for a second to say that she said, I'm getting a photo sent to the chat for verification of the license plate of the car to show whether or not it really is an ICE agent. Sorry, Red.
No, you're good.
So, there's more. Here it goes.
This is John 612. That we are at Grand and Lake. We're heading toward Irving. We can try and join you.
Thank you, John 612.
Hey, this is Lokito. I'm getting some messages from the WhatsApp group that they're driving around on 28, 29 Pleasant and Pillsbury Avenue. If you want to swing by there first, I'm making my way down that way as well. I am on Lake and Park.
I'll relay to the Spanish chat, relay to the Uptown Whittier.
I wanted to pause it again here because, all right, so one, when you look at the cell phone that's in the video, there's a map pulled up on it with a pinpoint showing. So he was able to get the call, pull up a map showing where it was, get live updates on where they're moving to. And you even heard the lady, she said, I'll switch you to the Spanish chat or and whatever else. And they're using WhatsApp. So they're using Signal and WhatsApp to communicate and keep live updates on where these police officers are going.
Yeah, and I've also never seen that app where you can click on the phone call and instantly get it. You know, you can click on where the call is and you get directions to where the call is being taken from. Never have seen that app in my life, but you know, maybe that's just some app that they're gatekeeping or something like that. But I don't know. We'll see.
So,
Thanks, Aaron.
That Ford just
We get two
that,
people
great
right
Ford just last
on the car. It's empty, but set.
Please go on mute. John 612, please go on mute.
Look at the phone.
Lokito, go ahead.
Yeah, that great F-150 just drove past me on the opposite way towards Cedar. That was on Lake and Park.
Thanks.
You could say we've
so that's enough of that. I get you guys probably get the idea, but this is obviously a very orchestrated network. Do these people have jobs?
I mean, it looks like they're getting paid right now. This is not something that you can just dedicate your time to when you have a full-time job. I don't understand how these people have time for this, number one, because the ICE agents are working. This is their time that they're clocked in. So I don't understand what their jobs actually are.
Yep. Now this is the Buffalo signal chat, and you can't access it. You can't just hop on there. This is how I found it. I went to a Facebook page that was Western New York Ice Watch. Then I went through the Facebook page with no information, and I started clicking on who looks like the craziest left winger, guys with blue hair and stuff. I started clicking on different pages. Finally, I found this, and this page is showing that they have a hotline that you can call. There's a hotline that you could call or text to report immigration enforcement activity, suspected checkpoints, or ask for help. The Buffalo Immigrant Refugee Defense, Birdwatch Buffalo. And they have Know Your Rights, printable flyers. They have I don't know, all these Walmart flyers, lawyers, immigrant services. It's basically how to report ICE, printable page, know your rights zone, whistle sign. This is all the resources.
Dude, look, this is the one that you were just talking about right here.
Yep.
So this is the one that he said. It's the one about stop collusion with the CCP or CPD and ICE, which is the Cheektowaga Police Department. It's a suburban city right outside the city of Buffalo. And this is the board, the town board. And right here is a left winger that is here. And I just want to go through really quick and show this video.
Good evening, Supervisor and members of the Cheektowaga Town Board. First off, I want to congratulate the new board members. I'm genuinely excited that the voters have chosen to flip the majority back to those who prioritize democratic values and community-focused governance. I'm here today to address an issue of critical importance that directly impacts our town's safety, legal liability, and moral standing, which is the Cheektowaga Police Department's extensive and disproportionate assistance to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, otherwise known as ICE. My core message is threefold. I urge you to re-examine the Cheektowaga Police Department's Policy 414 on immigration violations. I ask you to immediately suspend non-mandated cooperation with ICE, and I call for a new policy that aligns with the principles of the proposed New York for All and the Protecting Our Neighbors, or otherwise known as MELT Act. As a resident of Cheektowaga for nearly my entire life, I was deeply disturbed by the findings published last month by the Investigative Post. Their data showed that our Cheektowaga Police Department has assisted ICE in arrests more than any other local department, so much so that it accounts for 2/3 of all of the arrests in which local police forces have assisted. The data further clarifies the true nature of this activity. 83% of the people arrested were cited for immigration violations, which is a civil violation and not a crime. It's on par with a parking ticket. And these people have no other prior criminal history. And that aligns with research, including findings from Stanford University that immigrants commit crimes at a much lower rate than US-born citizens. They're about 60% less likely. Colluding with ICE doesn't make our community safer. It tears apart families, and it instills fear in our neighbors. The police policy 414 states that they may detain people who CPD has a reasonable suspicion as a person who has entered the U.S. in violation of federal law. However, we are seeing low-level allegations lead to life-altering changes for these people, and citizens are getting swept up in the process.
All right, now I'm going to pause it just for a second because what she just said is something that I think everyone needs to understand and hear. So she said citizens are getting swept up in the process. Now, I'm assuming that they're saying like citizens aren't getting deported. I'm going to assume that they're saying citizens are getting held captive in the process, which is what I assume they mean. So right here is me talking with Gronk, and this is all 100% factual. You can look up the sources here. So I said, how many U.S. citizens were held captive during 2025 by ICE? Simple answers only. Obviously, I said 2025 for the reason that that's President Trump's first year in office. At least 170 U.S. citizens, right? So 170, maybe 100 people, 170 people in your life. You could think about that like, oh, wow, 170 is a lot. But then when you look at the numbers of deportations, this says 310 to 340,000, even though the GOP claims it's 600,000. So I kept going, kept digging, obviously. What's the percentage of 170 citizens to 310,000 deportations? And right here, it's 0.055. So that's the percentage chance. Also, what I want to make sure is clear is, number one, you're the ones that are getting held captive and getting detained are the ones that are interfering with ICE. So actually 170 is not big at all. When you looked at what Cam Higbee was doing, scrolling through all of those groups, there's hundreds of people on these signal chats, and that's just Minnesota alone. And then I kept going using the GOP's numbers. It's less than a 0.03%. It's 0.028% chance that that's going to happen. 170, like, that's nothing. And then also, if you look at, like, you don't trust AI, you don't trust Gronk, 25 pages, 29 pages, 32 pages, 26 pages, all of this is getting backed by websites. Gronk learns from websites. So all of this information is true. The 170, like, when you actually think about 170 people out of 600,000 deportations, or even using the smaller number of 310,000 deportations, that percentage alone is nothing. Like, these people have hundreds of people that are in a single city interfering with ICE. And she's saying that it's getting swept up in the process. Now, my question to her is, what are the actual odds that one of those 170 people in the nation were actually from the state of New York? You know what I mean? Maybe, like, I have no idea. I mean, when you look at, we have 50 states and 170 of these people were detained. It doesn't even make any sense. So that's the one thing I did want to come on and show you. We can finish the video, but everything she's saying is fear-mongering. She's saying that it's ripping people's families apart. You know what else is ripping people's families apart? When there's illegal aliens that are coming in and killing and SAing mothers and children. That's what's tearing families apart. But let's not think about that. Let's not talk about that, because we need to make sure that these people get to live their life the right way. They get to live in our country because they think they should.
Beyond the moral concerns, continued cooperation with ICE poses a significant fiscal risk to our taxpayers and our community. In 2018, the New York State Appellate Court ruled that local police departments cannot detain individuals solely for immigration offenses, including holding a person longer than necessary for immigration agents or Customs and Border Patrol to arrive. We are opening the town up to substantial lawsuits, and we just saw one in Suffolk County where they had to pay $112 million to people whose rights were infringed upon by illegal detentions. So New York Focus released an article in late November alleging that CPD did just this at the Galleria Mall, detaining a man while waiting for Border Patrol to arrive. And I don't want my tax dollars going to that. I think that the police should just follow the law. Cheektowaga has no legal partnership with ICE, and ICE's budget for the fiscal year of 2026 is an estimated $11 billion with a B dollars. We don't need to use our town's limited resources meant for local crime and safety to subsidize a massive federal agency like that. Conversely, immigrants are vital contributors to our economy. According to the American Immigration Council, New York's 26th congressional district receives $498.7 million in taxes from immigrants.
Yeah, I think we'll be fine without their money. I think we'd be fine. We'll take the money that they have, and we'll just bite the bullet so we can stop all of this SA and assault.
Yeah, we're doing just fine. And the thing about it is, it's ridiculous, is how there's illegal immigrant housing, legal immigrant subsidies for food, for rent, just straight up cash payments. They were getting cell phones. How is it saving us money? And second of all, having ICE on the streets, having to make these arrests in people's houses, in drug dens, in wherever they are, rather than Cheektowaga police saying, "Oh, this guy just committed a crime," picking up the phone and calling ICE and saying, "Hi, we got a guy here who's supposed to go to court on Monday for, drunk driving." Why they could call ICE and say, "We got him here. If you guys want to just come pick him up and deport him," that would actually save the taxpayers money from having to hold all the court hearings, provide a lawyer, all that other stuff, and then house them in a jail or wherever they go. And it would save ICE from having to even have a presence on the street. They could take a van, drive behind the police station, pick the guy up, and leave town without anyone knowing. The problem is the police not cooperating with ICE makes ICE have to be on the streets. Minnesota created their own problems.
Yeah. And then what are you even talking about when she wants to say that illegal immigrants don't commit crimes? There's a 60% chance that they commit less crimes than the average U.S. citizen. They're committing a crime by being here. They're illegal aliens.
They all committed a crime. Everyone
already committed a crime, yeah.
100% of illegal aliens are criminals.
Yeah, all of them, because they're here illegally. You want to overstay your visa or you're an H-1B worker? I don't care. You shouldn't be here. I mean, the amount of people, and they want to pander these people, give them free health care, give them free money, give them free housing, all this stuff, because they're the only ones that will vote for the Democrats. Why do you think that Minnesota's losing a congressional seat? Why do you think that they're literally losing an electoral vote? Because we're deporting so many people. And we have 2% of ICE 2% of ICE funding goes to Minnesota. So, like, that's what I'm saying. You look at California's losing it's projected 4 congressional seats. That's ridiculous. I mean, places like Illinois is losing it. All of the Democratic states, all of the ones that don't require voter ID, that are now we're deporting the illegals, they're all losing these congressional seats. Then you look at Texas, +4 projected. Florida, +2 projected. I mean, the only red state that's projected to lose is Pennsylvania, and even that's the purest swing state that we have in the United States. I mean, that's been basically 50-50 for 5 cycles. So it's ridiculous. That narrative that she said that they don't commit crimes, maybe a Cuban mom that has 3 children might not be committing the crimes, but possibly an Afghan refugee is coming in and committing a lot more crimes than you would want, number one. And number 2, they shouldn't even be here. They don't need due process because they didn't due process to get here. There's no due process.
So ICE operates off of judicial warrants the same way that CPS coming to take your kids, if you're a crack mom or whatever, they don't need like an actual warrant. The court issues a warrant that this person has a deportation order ordered by the court. ICE will go into these places and deport the person because they're in violation of their immigration hearings. They didn't show up to an immigration hearing. They're doing illegal activity. They will be issued a deportation order and expelled from the country. That is their due process. There's no court hearing for deportations. And the other thing she said is that some county paid out people for their civil rights violations or whatever. Illegal immigrants don't have rights. Rights without borders and without citizenship, nobody has rights. Anyone, you try walking across the border from South Korea to North Korea and say that they violated your rights when they pump you full of machine gun bullets. That doesn't fly anywhere else.
Yeah, exactly. But they think they do. They think that they have the First Amendment right, the Second Amendment, the Fifth Amendment. And you're in the United States. U.S. citizens have the birthright to all of the amendments. They have the birthright to the Constitution. If you're an illegal alien, you don't have that. I mean, it's so simple.
So here we got basically this is just showing you on the signal chats. It says, "Well, on a shift, please put emoji in front of your signal name so we know what your role is. Mobile patrol, stationary patrol, foot patrol, dispatch, hyperlocal group messenger, school transport safety spotters, license plate checkers, medics, and aftercare providers." Who does anybody, a normal citizen, have access to license plate scanning technology?
No, I don't know any.
We might as well just jump right to the next thing here, because this is a training manual. This is what we were talking about when we said this stuff looks like it's put together by lawyers. This is a training manual for resisting ICE that's put out by these groups. And afterwards, I'm going to show you a training seminar. I already played this clip in my big breakdown, but it just brings to light what you're seeing. So I'm going to go full screen on this and show you. They have a nice table of contents. They have like tables, like really neat looking graphics and tables, and it's all broken down into sections. This is not a grassroots thing that some guy put together in his spare time. This is like poured over for hours, it seems like, by lawyers. You know, it actually looks like a government document. So here it is. This is the training manual for anti-ICE. Let's just pause it for a second. See how they're breaking down and showing you the different roles of all the you know, how if you're a patrol, what to do when you arrive. Here we go. Whistle, instant alert system, simple, effective, blah, blah. How whistle works. Wear a whistle if you spot ICE, blow your whistle. Let's keep going.
And also the whole whistle thing. I mean, that's just like, I could only imagine being an ICE agent. It would just irritate the crap out of me. I'd be so like annoyed with this. Just like, what is that? You're just trying to make them mad. That's literally what they want to do. They want to get these clips of these people. They could be 3 deaths. They want to get these clips of these ICE agents attacking them, so then they can just constantly use it in the news cycle, constantly talk about it.
And they're training, even if you're an illegal immigrant. They say, they tell people run up and get in their face and take a video, So and they teach them, even if you're an illegal immigrant, say, what are you doing? I'm a citizen. I'm disabled. They tell you to say all these things so that when they get it on video, they could upload it to social media, and all you see is a guy wiggling around in handcuffs, getting shoved into a car, yelling, I'm a citizen. And they don't care if it's true or not. They just post it anyway. And it's all about the optics. It's not about the truth at all, because I don't know if anyone saw it. The guy in the Stephen Hawking wheelchair that dropped his phone and got out of the wheelchair to pick up his phone, magically, miraculously was able to stand, and then sat back in the wheelchair and rolled down the street.
Yep, exactly.
So I want to play next, because we just saw their training manual. I want to play a short clip showing one of their actual training seminars. Oh, this is the wrong thing, but this is important too. So this is just saying who allegedly are some of the names on the Signal chat, and it's saying at least 2 Democrat Minnesota state officials and campaign advisors to Tim Walz, Amanda Kohler, have been identified as admins and dispatchers in a now leaked Signal group chat used to stalk and impede federal immigration operations in the state. And actually, while we're on the subject, this is an actual, that's Ilhan Omar's thing. While we're on the subject, this is an actual government official, Peggy Flanagan, that's telling people to go and join these groups. And
so this is literally the second time this weekend, as we've been doing an event where there's been breaking news that ICE agents are in the community. So this is not just an issue that impacts the Twin Cities. It impacts all of us. Watch out for each other. And I completely understand if folks have to go or there's other observers in this space. But just would ask that you get trained up. You learn how to respond in this moment. How many of you have gone through legal observer training so far? A couple folks. I know that there will be more opportunities to go through this training that will be offered online. The Immigrant Defense Network is available for folks. Monarca, that's through Unidos, is another place where people can look for training. I have gone through, I know you're.
So that's her talking about the training. That's the Lieutenant Governor, Peggy Flanagan, talking about the training. Here's another one. This is State Rep Alex Faulkner.
The young man, 13-year-old, handcuffed by ICE, his father taken away. I arrived there as soon as I could. I talked to some of the family members. It's devastating. And I don't know, just going home and talking to my kids about what happened and how this is affecting our community. These are terrible times. But we will get through it. We'll get stronger for it. And we will look out for one another. Before coming to the state legislature, I'm a community organizer at heart, and that's part of what I'm trying to bring to the legislature. I'm helping to lead the community response, rapid response network that we have, given any ICE situations. I have a couple cards here. I'm willing to stop in to stay around and talk with anybody that wants any more information. We've got a couple groups on the app Signal that we would love for you to join. Whether or not you want to be a part of the Resistance Network, I fully understand you may not be comfortable with that, but you can help us in a lot of ways by sending an alert.
All Somalis.
Vehicle.
He literally said, I'm hoping to lead the Resistance Network, and that there's a Signal group chat that I encourage you to join.
So
And the other lady,
and
the
then
other lady,
people are saying that the representatives are not involved at all. Well, that's two examples that people in the higher up government are involved with at least recruiting people to the Signal chats. That's I don't understand how these people won't or couldn't be arrested, because this is against federal agents. It's literally against the ICE agents, which is a federal group. It's a federal agency, and they're they're telling their citizens to fight them. If that's not tyranny or treason, then I don't know what is. This is ridiculous. And he's literally talking to all of those, I would assume, illegal immigrants. I mean, maybe some of them are legal, maybe all of them are legal, but just a complete room of Somalis telling them, come join. If you don't feel comfortable joining, I completely understand. We have people to fight for you. It's ridiculous.
yeah. And I can't find. I pulled up the video. I must have clicked off of it, but it's a video that if it's in my breakdown, my first breakdown of the Minnesota. It was a solo episode I did, maybe episode 11. And it shows them simulating. There's a guy holding a lady around the shoulders. He's supposed to be the fake ICE agent in the scenario. Then there's a lady, and she's wiggling and acting all crazy. And then everyone has matching vests that are given out by the group, and they're all blowing whistles, and they're literally training on how to respond. And the reason they do training is so that it looks good on camera. When someone's getting arrested and they're yelling, "I'm a citizen, what are you doing?" And everyone's like, "Oh my God, you guys are criminals." It creates the illusion for the average person who's not paying attention to say, well, maybe this is bad. Oh my God, I guess ICE is arresting citizens. That might be a guy from Guatemala who robbed a bank. You don't know.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
what they're training them on what to say.
Yeah, and then you look at it when you compare the far leftists from Minnesota to the Salem witch trials, they're so similar with this mass hysteria that they have. They literally think that they're fighting a tyrannic government. They think that they're fighting tyranny in the face, and that this is complete Gestapo. They think that this is literally 1940s Germany. It's nothing. It's not even close. The people that Trump that they think Trump is, those people that think Trump is literally Hitler, dude, it's ridiculous. Maybe he's a little radical for your viewpoint because he's centered right, a little far right. He says some stuff about Somalis sometimes, but look at the stuff that he does when you actually want to look at the U.S. population and what he's actually done. He hasn't been all far right, like he said. What happened to Project 2025? That's all I could hear about the whole way up to the election. Project 2025. He's going to instill Project 2025. Well, nothing on Project 2025 is actually happening. Maybe slightly, but nothing that they wanted to say. They said that we're going to bring in a dictator and then democracy's over. Well, what about democracy that all of these people voted for President Trump to deport all of the illegals, and now he's most likely going to stop or at least limit ICE agents from going in and deporting people because of the midterms? We've only gotten at most 600,000. Then the GOP will say, oh, well, we actually had 2 million deportations because 1.5 were self-deportations. Those don't count. Self-deportations do not count when you're talking about actual deportations that ICE has actually done. Real deportations. You got the person and you're deporting them back to their homeland, their country their country of origin.
You know what else? That lady in the video, she said, the lady speaking at Cheektowaga town board meeting, she was like, well, this is our democratic values or whatever. If you actually were a principled person that believed in democratic values, you would accept the fact that when you voted a president in, he brought in 20 million illegal immigrants, or the numbers vary, but he brought in a ton of illegal immigrants, and there wasn't any uprisings, there wasn't any riots. There was complaints on social media, which we're allowed to do. That's a First Amendment protected activity. Now Trump's in, and you guys can't accept it to the point where you're literally, the government is telling people to put their bodies on the line and go out and fight ICE, and they're ready to, here is a video. Right now, they have National Guard members, because Tim Walz called up the National Guard, right? They have National Guard members, and people were concerned. They said, how are we going to tell the difference between ICE and the National Guard? And so they put them in these dumb yellow vests. And right now, just to, show you that there's two militaries lined up against each other, here they are, but they're not actually doing any enforcement. They're handing out coffee and donuts to the protesters. That's what Tim Walz has his National Guard doing. These guys must feel like assholes.
It's almost Valentine's Day.
Get a shot of it. But thank you all.
Wow.
So I want to play a clip because we're seeing, like I said, there's a clear line being drawn, and you have federal agents versus the state of Minnesota so far. Well, this is a propaganda piece made by I forget if it was A24 or one of these left-wing film producers now, and it's being pushed out by Hulu or whatever. But this video is what they think is going to happen, what they think that Trump's going to do when he makes himself the dictator and starts putting illegal immigrants in concentration camps and all this stuff. Here's the video. This is just the opening scene to the movie Civil War.
Just find that.
We are now closer than we have ever been. We are now closer than we have ever been to victory. Some are already calling it the greatest. Some are already calling it the greatest victory in the history of mankind. Some are calling it already. We are closer than we have ever been to victory. Some are already calling it the greatest victory in the history of military campaigns. Today, I can announce that the so-called Western forces of Texas and California have suffered a very great loss, a very great defeat at the hands of the fighting men and women of the United States military. The people of Texas and California should know that they will be welcomed back to these United States as soon as their illegal secessionist government is deposed. I can also confirm that the Florida Alliance has failed in its attempt to force the brave people of the Carolinas into joining the insurrection. Citizens of America, we are now closer than ever to a historic victory as we eliminate the final pockets of resistance. God bless you all, and God bless America.
Yeah, so obviously there's more to the movie. So the movie goes on. Now you saw the lady sitting on the bed watching the speech, right? So you've got a Trumpian figure as the president, who is rounding up any black and brown person that he can find and putting them in cages, right? And that lady is supposedly the hero. She's a journalist that is covering the United States versus the Western Alliance, which is an unrealistic alliance. Florida and Texas sided with California. Makes no sense. But anyway, maybe they're just figuring that the most Latin Americans live there and this is where the uprisings are going to take place. But this movie portrays that they go throughout the whole United States, working their way towards Washington, D.C. At one point, the United States soldiers are surrendering and they're like, yeah, blow their heads off. Then the Trump figure at the end, they make him look pathetic. He's like crawling on the ground in the White House, trying to get away. And the black lady resistance fighter walks in and he's like, please, I surrender. She blows his head off too. This movie should be illegal. The person who wrote this movie, obviously, I don't know. I mean, can you make a movie that shows you blowing the president's head off while he's begging for mercy?
Beats me. That movie. That looks ridiculous.
Apparently,
that's supposed to symbolize Trump.
Yeah, well, they don't specifically go out and say it, but there's like throughout the movie, there's like a bunch of white army guys walking around, and they find an Asian guy, and they're like, "What's up, China man?" And they're pushing him around. And then throughout the whole movie, there's the racist white guys are in the U.S. military, and the Trumpian-looking figure. This president, even the way that they wrote the fake speech for him in the movie, this is the greatest military victory in human history. Sounds just like something Trump would say. It's the greatest ever. It's going to be the greatest. It's going to be the best, or whatever. They're trying to portray it's like Dracula. The book Dracula was really written about the leader of Romania or something back in the day, because they were really capturing kids and people were disappearing from the streets, but they couldn't write about the president of Romania, so they had to write Dracula as like a almost veiled story, art mirroring real life. But this doesn't mirror real life. Our plans aren't to get a bunch of white guys together and be the military and round up any black person. Literally, the only thing that any Republican has ever said is that illegal immigrants need to be deported.
Yeah.
That's simple. It's very simple. There's nothing more to it. There's nothing nuanced about it. We're not trying to pull one over on you guys. We are literally asking for illegal immigrants to be deported, and that's it. No concentration camps, no whatever else. We're not Nazis. If this was really the Gestapo, like they say it is, they wouldn't have paintball guns. They'd have real bullets, automatic guns with bullets, and they'd be enforcing this stuff. They have tear gas canisters and paintball guns because they're trying not to kill anybody. They're trying not to do anything.
And then you have like professors in Minnesota that are saying that we have a white pandemic and a racism pandemic, and that if you're white and you're born into a white family, then you are a part of the problem just by being born. Well, there's 6% of the entire world population is white. Like in the entire world, we are a very, very low minority. If you actually want to talk about the majorities, it's Asian and Muslim. Those are the two majorities. Those are where everyone's having the most kids. mainly the Muslim nations. Like when you look at like places like Iran and Afghanistan, they have birth rates that are crazy. You look at the Western nations. Some Western nations don't even have a birth rate of 1. I mean, that's terrible. You need a birth rate of at least 2. Like it's so bad. It's so bad that we're actually having we're seeing the white population die out because they're not having enough kids. And just everything like that. It's ridiculous. You know, by 2050, I don't even know what it's going to look like. The world is going through such a big shift right now. It's crazy. But yeah, I don't know. Minnesota is just a mess right now. I mean, everything that they're doing when it comes to just like from schooling to their government to their population, the amount of Somali fraud, all of the illegal immigrants, everything that is going on in Minnesota is just terrible. I like that whole state is just horrendous.
Yeah. So I wrote, well, we could wrap the show up. I wrote this song about 7 months ago, I think. And this song, I wrote it about Gavin Newsom in California in relation to the initial the beginning of this. I think this started in California right after the wildfires. There was a bunch of anti-ICE protests, and the song, it says Californication, it's the state of the nation. You're fighting Americans for illegal immigration. It's talking about this thing, and I didn't really know how far that this conflict would go, but I guess the song covers it. Californication is the state of the nation. So what happened there is now basically happening nationwide. We've seen it in our own city, in Buffalo. So we will close out the show with that song. Before we go, I just wanted to say, obviously, like we do every time, Christ is King. Get in your Bibles, learn the Word of God. Jesus said that the Word is a two-edged sword that is your weapon. So you need to have the Word of God to be able to combat these things. And just like Jesus was talking to the Pharisees or talking about Rome, whatever was going on at the time, he was making it biblical and talking about why these things shouldn't be happening because of their Jewish values, which, you know, he fulfilled the law. So not only, you know, Jewish values was Jesus talking about, but he was the fulfillment of the law, and saying that if you think about killing somebody, you've already committed murder in your heart. We need to apply these things, these teachings that Jesus, he said, love God, love God and God only, no other gods than God. And he said, more importantly than that, love your neighbors as you would love yourself. And he said that those two things are how you interpret the 10 Commandments. He was the fulfillment of the law. So you need that. You need that on the front of your mind when you go through these situations, even at work, talking to normal people, and they just want to say, like, oh yeah, watching politics gives me a headache. I just shut it off after a while because it makes me so mad. It's like, well, it should make you mad, but do you paint your face for the football game on Sunday, or do you paint your face for America and our founding fathers and for our rights and for our freedoms and for what's good and what's actually moral in the world?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Right here, this is a cross that our cousin Jeremiah gave us for being his best man. This, a Book of Martyrs, and another smaller cross. I challenge all of you listening to this point, you should get one of these. If not a big one like this, there's little ones that you can have that you can just put in your pocket, keep in your car. I keep this one on my wall right back here. I can show you. I have another one right there, and then there's another one up there. It's just a good reminder. You see that. It just makes you think about it. Obviously, try to pray as much as possible. He wants to be connected with you as much as you want to be connected from him. Don't just go to him to be asking for stuff. That's something I've learned and evolved through my faith is you don't want to just talk to him when you need stuff. You want to talk to him and thank him for everything that you have in your life. And I do suggest getting one of these crosses because it actually is super helpful to remember and just to hold. It makes you make good decisions. In important decisions in my life, I grab the smaller one when I'm thinking about it, or if I'm in a public place, just hold it around, have it in your pocket. It's a good way to, just practice your faith. Christ is King. And check out this song that Will made. He has a couple, so we're gonna start putting them in for the outros. But like this video, subscribe, do all of that. Comment if you disagree with us or agree with us on anything, because we respond to every single comment, negative or positive. And let's get into this video.
You bring insanity into our culture. Federal agents enforcing the law. Your mob attacks them like a vulture. You know this, started cause you lied about ICE raids. It was money laundering, but they attacked it anyways. We know the activists show up and get paid. The National Guard responded to violence, but you spin it the other way. Californication is the state of the nation. You're fighting Americans for illegal immigration. You won't be afraid of communist intimidation. Destroying democracy, taking away my representation. What about those fires? Where was the water? It's your job to have a plan, but you emptied the reservoir. How about trim trees when you know that it's coming? You cry climate change, but still do nothing. The blood is on your hands and you think that it's funny. You ignore criticism like you're a king or something. Californication is the state of the nation. You're fighting Americans for illegal immigration. You won't be afraid of communist intimidation. Destroying democracy, taking away my representation. You're the state of emergency, you're the pandemic. You take advantage of your power to declare yourself king. While cities burn and people loot everything. You got plans for your state, it's 15-minute cities. We ain't running to you to solve everything, but we ain't packing our bags and running away. This is our country, you do it our way. Our way. Californication is the state of the nation. You're fighting Americans for illegal immigration. You won't be afraid of communist intimidation. Destroying democracy, taking away my representation. Destroying democracy, taking away my representation.